Hey there, Tali Anderson on behalf of California Family Law Naked Truth. Joining me today is Steve Hilton, running for governor, Republican candidate. And then we have Michael Gates here. He is a candidate for the Attorney General here in the state of California. We're diving into issues that affect thousands of families across California, specifically in the family courtroom. We're talking about lack of corruption, lack of transparency, and systematic failures within the state of the family courtroom. Now, for you two, when you guys are voted in, the families want to know what you can do for them. Start with you, Steve.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to you for shining a spotlight on this. And this organization is so important. California Family Law Naked Truth is exactly what needs to happen, because the more that I learn about what's been going on, the more scandalous it is that you have good people, good parents, good families being destroyed and victimized by a system that has been captured by some kind of sick ideology. And the more that you learn about this, the worse it is. Each story makes me more and more angry. So that's the starting point. This is disgusting, what's going on in our system here. And it's the combination of the family law system and the court, the family courts, and the bureaucracies, right from the Department of Social Services, the statewide department on down, the county departments. They all have slightly different names, Child Protective Services, all these. There's a huge bureaucracy that is supposedly there to protect children. It's doing the exact opposite. It's doing the exact opposite. It's really destroying families. And so that's the starting point. The second thing I just want to say is what a joy it is to be here with my friend Michael Gates. And it's not just that we are randomly here together, we are actually running together. And it's a really strong partnership. And that's why I so appreciate the chance to be here with Michael. He's part of what we're calling the golden ticket to save California. And we talk all the time about a whole range of issues. And I've learned so much from Michael on important issues like protecting the Second Amendment and how we're going to deal with the sanctuary state, insanity, and all these things. But this is another area where it's going to be so valuable to have not just a governor who's on the side of the people, but an attorney general working as a team to make change happen.
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me here. And Steve's absolutely right. And this is a fantastic partnership. We're on the phone every day talking about how we're going to solve the state's problems. In fact, I was on camera last week with you, and I said, I think we would tell a better story, actually, if Steve were here. So this is a fantastic opportunity. Thank you. And thanks to California Family Law Naked Truth for shining a light on all of these issues. And I mean, it really performs a tremendous service. It really educates the public, educates people like us who are getting involved and stepping up to solve the problems that we see in California. And I will tell you, fundamentally, what we need to do is attack corruption where corruption is hiding, where we see it and where it's still hiding. And we are going to do that as a top priority. It is sick to me that our systems that are supposed to offer safety, sanctuary, justice, protection, are actually victimizing families right now. It's disgusting to see that that's occurring. And I was just commenting before we started taping that our society in California, but nationally too, but particularly in California, it's so upside down. I mean, we literally are coddling criminals. If all you have to do is listen to the current Attorney General, Rob Bonda, for just minutes, or Gavin Newsom for just minutes, and you start to sense, and you may even hear expressly, that they're coming down on the side of really, frankly, protecting criminals. It used to be that we protected victims and we prosecuted criminals, that criminals were the bad guys and that victims were the innocents that we needed to go out of our way as individuals, but as a society and as a government to protect. And the fact that we're not doing that today turns my stomach. I mean, it's just disgusting. And I can tell you that one of the strongest points of my campaign, frankly, is to be protecting innocent people, protecting our children, and protecting our victims. And I know Steve agrees with that. And I can't wait to get into office because on day one, are we not only going to attack the corruption, including Family Court and CPS and some of these other organizations, but we are going to make sure that we're Title IX compliant and we're protecting young girls and young women in our education system and in our sports systems throughout the state of California. We are going to make sure that we are protecting our most vulnerable in our society, frankly, and that's a serious issue. And then just finally, one other disgusting aspect of what's going on coming out of Sacramento. Our Attorney General Rob Bonta is suing hospitals, literally recently, brand new lawsuits suing hospitals, because those hospitals, including a children's hospital, he's suing, because those hospitals refuse to perform transgender surgeries on minors. So he is looking to force hospitals, including children's hospitals, to mutilate children. That's what it is. And when I'm in office, those lawsuits are going to go away, and I'm actually going to prosecute hospitals and doctors and any provider that seeks to mutilate children. That is to literally cut off healthy body parts from like their bodies. Like, it's disgusting. And we're going to make things right. And I can't wait to get into office myself, but I can't wait to get into office when Steve Hilton is governor, because I know that together, from different angles, we can attack these problems once and for all.
Sharing about different angles, I mean, when you become governor, Steve, what specific powers would you use to reform family court?
Well, before we get to the court, I mean, it's important to remind everyone that as governor, you run the executive branch. So all these bureaucracies and all the ideological extremism that flows from them, that is something you can directly affect by replacing the ideologues at the state level. And so much of the funding actually comes from the state level to the counties. You have a lot of leverage there as well. And so that's a very important starting point. That's a day one thing you can do. When it comes to the courts, it's not as direct, and Michael can speak to this. Of course, as governor, you appoint judges, but the different elements of our judicial system have a complicated map of which judges are appointed, which are elected. You know, it's complicated. Yeah. And I never want to say things that I can't deliver. And so I think that it's important to understand which bits of the system lend themselves to immediate action. That's the bureaucracy part of it. And then which are going to take a little bit more time.
Yeah, and the beauty of what the governor's going to be able to do is the power of appointment, like he said, including new judges. Judges that care about victims, judges that care about the rule of law, the judges that are not influenced by undue influence into corruption or anything like that. And so that is very powerful, among other things that we'll be able to do. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, when Steve's governor for 4 years and then another 4 years, that's a lot of time to really work, to roll up our sleeves and work on fixing the judicial system from the governor's office and also from the attorney general's office, where we will not shy away from investigating corruption. Any hint of corruption, we're going to investigate. And when we find wrongdoers, when we find criminals, we are going to prosecute. We're talking about putting people behind bars. We're not talking about investigating for years and years and years and it never goes anywhere. We're talking about bringing justice to people as swiftly and as diligently as possible. And that starts for me on day one, and I know likewise it starts for Steve on day one.
And it's being and it's being a place, you know, where victims can go and really have action. I mean, what I'm hearing, and obviously California Family Law Naked Truth is hearing this many more stories than we ever get to hear. But even the ones that I hear, what is so infuriating is that they're not getting through to anyone in power or authority who can help them.
With that being said, some change has really already happened. California Family Law Naked Truth spearheaded 6 judges being served in Orange County on December 17th of 2025. And then an additional 6 were served by other local families following what California Family Law Naked Truth did. That's adding up to 12 judges just in Orange County. My question to you then is, what would you say to all the politicians currently in office who are aware of what's going on?
Well, I would say be on notice that you are put there to serve the people, and that's what the message that I have for everyday Californians is: look at my career, look at Steve's career. We're everyday Californians just like you are. I literally served as the city attorney of Huntington Beach for 10 years, and you can ask anybody in Huntington Beach, you know, what do you think of when you think of Michael? And they say a fighter for the people. He's just one of us. But he's a fighter and he's unafraid. And so when you put us into office, you're putting everyday Californians in office in Sacramento. And those elitists out there, those elected officials, those career politicians who have gotten so far out of touch with everyday Californians, a reckoning is coming if there's wrongdoing, right? If they're committing crimes or they're involved in corruption, there is a day of reckoning coming, because we're not going to tolerate corruption. But also they need to be afraid of the people, because the people in California are pretty upset right now. We've got Democrats, Independents, and Republicans alike who are all fed up with leadership across the board. You could look at LA, the city of Los Angeles, that their leadership there, Los Angeles, Angelenos are tired. They are fed up with the leadership there. Or look at statewide. Rob Bonta was going to run for governor. The Attorney General, current Attorney General, was going to run for governor, and he decided not to. Why? Because the polling didn't support his candidacy for governor, which tells you everything you need to know about the sentiment in California. We're going to return California back to Californians, everyday Californians, and we're going to fight for the folks. I've made a career of it, and I'm looking forward to it as Attorney General.
What would you have to say, Steve?
Well, I would echo that, and my take on that is it's time for an outsider. I'm coming in, I've never run for office before. I'm not beholden to any of these people. I've argued for years against this far left nonsense and this ideology. I couldn't have been clearer about where I stand. And where we stand is with the vast majority of normal, regular people. And we've allowed this extreme, fringe ideology to infect our whole system of government, and it's infected the family courts, and it's infected the bureaucracies and the county departments and all that, and we're just going to root it out. There's no shortcut. We're just going to get rid of it, because real people are suffering on a bigger scale than I think anyone can imagine. That's what's so incredibly important about this organization. That we're now gathering the stories, so we have the ammunition we need to hold these people who've let it happen or caused it to happen, hold them to account for their crimes. That's what this is.
Thank you so much, Steve and Michael, for your time, and good luck to you too.
Thank you. It's great to be here.